contempt. Kaya nakikiusap kami sa iyo, Ka Erik, na kung pwede, please respect this committee and observe proper decorum.
So raised by the Honorable Suarez. Alam po niyo, Ka Erik, kung meron po kayong karapatan, may karapatan din pong committee. Lahat po tayo may karapatan dito. So ang tanong ko, yes or no? May tanong si Congressman J.J. Suarez, huwag na po natin pabain. Yes or no?
What right is that you are invoking, Mr. Celiz?
The Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights guarantees me for the guarantee of due process and even the Soto law and even the House rules. Constitutional question.
Yes,
Constitutionally guaranteed rights, Your Honor. Mr. Chairman, cannot be violated by any branch of the government. Ang 1.8 billion na pagtatanong ko po, Your Honors, Mr. Chairman, ay hindi po threat to national security. Kapag ito po ay tinatanong ng mga media practitioners at ng mamamayan patungkol sa tamang pangangalaga sa pundo ng bayan. And I believe Congress is not exempted from public transparency and accountability in the disposal of public funds.
Alam po ninyo,
It is not an issue
Mr. Chair, move to subpoena the text messages of that phone number just to know whether or not meron po ba talagang pumasok na text na nagsasabi na ganito kalaking kahalaga ang ginastos ng House of Representatives. Kasi kung lalabas sa phone records na walang text at ayaw sabihin ni Mr. Celiz yung pangalan, maaaring gawa-gawa lang itong mga pinag-uusapan natin dito at walang pasihan.
To KBP,
Because,
as I said earlier, dahil sa daming fake news, sa daming mga maling impormasyon na pinapalabas sa SMNI in their program and other programs, ay marami yung silang kaso. You know, ang ina-establish ko that you are disseminating, you are faced with several cases proving na marami kayong hinaras, marami kayong minalign, marami kayong sinira ng mga reputasyon using false information. Yun po ang gusto kong i-prove dito sa hearing, Mr. Chair. Meron pong kaso sa KPP, ang SMNI. Ano yung kasong yun?
Mr. Chair, the complaint was received only today.
Can you please speak closer to the microphone? Thank you.
The complaint from a certain Mr. Luis C. Biraugo was received only today. But I was informed of it only on my way to the hearing.
Fairness, since we really want to know the source, para malaman natin kung ano talagang pinagkakalat nito, would we allow Mr. Celiz, Ka Erik, to reveal the source in executive session? Would the chair allow?
Ayaw po sabihin sa harap ng camera at sa publiko, okay lang ba, executive session? We will call for executive session now. Para lahat po ng options ay binigay na po namin sa inyo.
Because it will create a very dangerous and negative precedence on the protection of source provided by law. I will refuse to.
Salamat.
Salamat po.
Mr. Celiz has already violated two provisions of Section 11. The first one, acting in a disrespectful manner, and the second one, which is very more important rather, is his refusal to answer the question in a relevant inquiry. On this note, Mr. Chair, I move to contempt, to cite for contempt Mr. Celiz for on these two grounds under Section 11. So move, Mr. Chair.
Second the motion.
Yan po guys, so natunghayan nyo na ang aking introduction. So sa Kongreso, pag sinabi ng Kongresong yes or no ang tanong, yes or no lang ang sagot nyo. Huwag na kayong magkokomento ng iba pa ng kagaya nito. Yun, dahil po kayo'y mako-contempt lang kasi hindi nga yun ang tanong eh. Hindi ang tanong ay yes or no lang eh. Tapos sasagot nyo, meron pang mga yun, mali na po yun. So, kung ang tanong ay for yes or no lang, hindi nyo na kailangan mag-explain. So, gaya po na sinabi ko, kaya ko dito, kailangan kong gawin yung mga ganung bagay pagka yung magkokomento ako, kagaya ng sasabihin ko sa Kongreso na yun, hindi niyo po dapat sabihin nyo at gawin. So, kasi baka maaaring kayo mapatawag ng Kongreso dahil sa mga sambit nyo na mga ganito. Kayong mga Kongreso, di ba? So, napakasimple lang po ng mga ganong bagay. Once na kayo Huwag kayong magsasalita ng kung ano-ano pa sa Kongreso na ang Kongreso ay diba ang kailangan natin yung mga makatarungang komento. So, simulan na po natin guys. At bago tayo magsimula, ang pasasalamatan ko po ang aking mga viewers, ang aking mga subscriber. Maraming salamat po sa patuloy niyo suporta sa aking YouTube channel, DIY KKB Informative. So, ito na po guys.
For contempt, kaya nakikiusap kami sa iyo, Ka Erik, na kung pwede, please respect this committee and observe proper decorum. Nasa rules po natin na you cannot speak if you are not recognized by the chair. Actually, naka-strike one na po kayo, Ka Erik. Kanina, you were not recognized by the chair but you kept on talking. So again, may I advise, Ka Erik, we are not suppressing your rights, but also respect this committee and observe proper decorum.
Thank you very much. Mr. Chair, if I may continue.
There was a question raised by the Honorable Suarez. Alam po niyo, Ka Erik, kung meron po kayong karapatan, may karapatan din pong committee. Lahat po tayo may karapatan dito. So, ang tanong ko, yes or no? May tanong ko si Congressman JJ Suarez, huwag na ho natin pabain. Yes or no?
I will refuse to answer, Your Honors, not because I disrespect this committee, but I will invoke my right guaranteed by the Constitution because I believe this committee cannot be above the law, especially the Constitution.
Can I just
Honorable
raise
JJ Suarez.
what right is that you are invoking, Mr. Celiz?
The Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights guarantees me for the guarantee of due process and even the Soto law and even the House rules.
Yes,
Constitutionally guaranteed rights, Your Honor, Mr.
Yeah.
Chairman, cannot
Mr.
be violated by any branch of the government.
Ka Erik, may katanungan. Is that
Mr.
clear?
Mr.
Alam po ninyo, Ka Erik, meron ba kayo kasamang abogado na yun?
May I answer po. That's why I am requesting since last hearing that I may be given the counsel. Now I will hire.
Alam mo yun, if you keep going back, last year, ang tanong ko na yun.
I will hire Attorney Mark Tolentino and Attorney Rolex Soplico as my personal choice
Okay.
to do legal counsel.
Everything that you say now is guided by your lawyer, who's also here.
Not yet, sir, because they are not, Mr. Chairman, permitted and granted authority to be recognized as my legal counsel. That's why I'm requesting. I'm hiring today, this afternoon, Attorney Mark Tolentino and Attorney Rolex Soplico.
And the lawyers accepting that mandate because you remember, in the last hearing, you manifested that you are not representing Ka Erik and the anchors because of the disclaimer issue. Are you accepting?
I'm accepting, Your Honor.
Attorney Rolex Suplico.
I am accepting, Your Honor.
Okay, so thank you very much. So everything that will be said, no, Ka Erik, may abogado na po kayo. Yes or no?
May I request again,
Yes.
Congressman Honorable J.G. Suarez, to refer to the session, please.
Now, with the presence of your lawyer, it's just a little bit ironic that in the past few days you've been on air talking about the hearing, talking about your opinions about the hearing, and together with Attorney Mark Tolentino, I think there was a few episodes na magkasama pa kayong dalawa. So you're very vocal and you're very opinionated about your position. And last hearing, I just want to remind you, you apologized to the committee because the statements that you issued in your show, kasama ang bayan, tama po ba yun?
Laban kasama ang bayan.
Humingi ka lang paumanhin dahil yung sinabi mong 1.8 billion ay walang katotohanan. Sinabi niyo yun. Ngayon, sinabi mo, ang source mo ay galing sa Kongreso. Sinabi ko mula sa House of Representatives, ang sabi niyo po ay hindi po House. Dalawa po yung House, Congress at Senate. Sinabi niyo, kinonfirm niyo na lalaki na taga-Senado. Ngayon po, naglabas na po ng statement, mismong Senate President na, ang nagsasabi, hindi na ito nanggagaling sa amin, although I am pressing hard.
Ano
that I
sabi?
want you to reveal that, sir,
Ano
because we
sabi?
want to find out the truth. Mr. Celiz, the truth, and nothing is more important than the truth. So, I'm asking you, nicely, who is your source?
Nako.
May I qualify, Your Honor, Mr. Chairman, may I be allowed to speak?
Yes, but before that, I'd like to remind you and the lawyers that under Section 13, the participation of counsel in this hearing for the witness during the hearing and while the witness is testifying shall be limited to advising the legal rights of the witness. Is that clear, Attorney Tolentino and Attorney Supico?
Yes,
Okay,
Your Honor.
that will only limited to that. Wala ho tayong coaching dito, ha? Yes. Eric.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for the recognition.
Mr. Chair.
Congressman Suarez, sir.
Please answer straight directly, ha? Wala ho tayong ligoy na sagot dito.
Mr. Chair, something.
Okay.
Can I say something
Yes.
before you?
Order.
No, go ahead.
No,
Please.
just want to be enlightened. What is your decision regarding the prior motion made by Congressman Paduano on?
Well,
There's a motion.
Point of order.
No,
He only made a point of order. So he was declaring him out
thank
of
you,
order.
thank you.
Yes, proceed. Yes or no?
Yeah, thank you po, Mr. Chairman.
Please answer directly, ha? Huwag mo tayo masyadong
I
lumad.
will not answer it because I am protected by law as per advice in conference with my lawyers here. I am protected by the SOTO law. Unless the SOTO law is repealed, I will be under the protection of the SOTO law. Republic Act number 53.
Mr. Chair. Okay.
And the previous statements made, Your Honor, Mr. Chairman, please, were made without the competent advice of legal counsel. That's why I was requesting humbly for this honorable committee chaired by Congressman Tambunting that all those testimonies regarding the testimonies I made here can be stricken off the record if it may be considered as a request. Because those are inadmissible.
Alam nyo, lagi nyo sinasabi yung SOTO law. Ano pong portion ng SOTO law ang tinutukoy yun? Anong particular provision sa SOTO law? Pakibasa po.
I will, Mr. Chairman, I will request my counsel to give me the particular provision or they may be allowed to reference the
No,
particular
we
provision.
are requesting you.
I don't have the copy of the SOTO.
Then I will suggest that the council give him a copy of the SOTO law. Because we do not, you're only supposed to, like I said earlier, hindi ko kayo pwede magsalta. Yan magsalta, si Ka Erik.
Mr. Chairman, may I be allowed to read the pertinent provision from the SOTO? Without prejudice, this is section 1 of 1145 as amended. Without prejudice, is inability or ability under the civil and criminal laws, any publisher, owner, or duly recognized or accredited journalist, whether reporter, writer, contributor, opinion, writer, editor, columnist, manager of media, or other media practitioner involved in the writing, editing, production, and dissemination of news or mass circulation of any print, broadcast, wire service organization, or electronic mass media, including cable TV, television, and its variants, cannot be compelled to reveal the source of any news item, report, or information appearing or being reported or disseminated through other or the said media which was related in confidence or reported in confidence. Above mentioned media practitioners, unless the court or the House of Representatives or the Senate or any committee of Congress finds that such revelation is demanded by the national security of the state.
Eric,
Your Honor,
pero may magkakaroon po siya para maliwanag.
Mr. Chairman, can I explain the provision?
I will have to answer first the position raised by the witness. Ang unang po sinabi nyo, accredited journalist. Kayo ba'y accredited journalist? Ka Erik, kayo po ang tinatanong po. Kayo po ba'y accredited journalist?
The accreditation or the license to practice journalism does not require any particular organization or government entity to give us license or accreditation for broadcast. If you are referring, Mr. Chairman, to KBP, membership to KBP is voluntary. KBP is not an absolute regulatory power for broadcast. So we are like an NGO and private organization.
Ano pong basihan nyo, basihan ng provision niyan, nung sinabi niya kailangan accredited, kayo nag-cite ng batas. Kayo nag-cite ng prohibition.
Mr. Chairman,
Accredited journalist, hindi ko kayo, sino dapat mag-accredit sa inyo?
the seminar is an accredited and franchise-granted media. And therefore, the prerogative and the decision for editorial decision who can broadcast or cannot broadcast in their station rests with the franchise granted to them. Therefore, hindi po kami required na maghingi ng pahintulot sa gobyerno na mag-broadcast kami doon. Dahil kami po ay bahagi ng isang media organization na may legitimate existence as granted by franchise.
Yes, but remember, may disclaimer. Ang sabi ng SMNI, hindi po nila pananagutan ang gagawin nyo. At hindi na nga raw kayo empleyado, sabi nila. So, ergo, hindi ko namin agad-agad kaya tanggapin yung inyong mungkahi. Pakalawa, I would like to remind you that this is a House inquiry, which is provided for by the SOTO law. And third, tatanungan ko, security of state, binanggit nyo. Ano po ibig nyo? Ito ba yung security of state? Tingin nyo itong issue to, which is an exception.
Ang 1.8 billion na pagtatanong ko po, Your Honors, Mr. Chairman, ay hindi po threat to national security. Kapag ito po ay tinatanong ng mga media practitioners at ng mamamayan patungkol sa tamang pangangalaga sa pundo ng bayan. And I believe Congress is not exempted from public transparency and accountability in the disposal of public funds.
Alam po ninyo,
It is not an issue
Mr. Chair, I think I
national
still have the
security.
floor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Huliin, katanungan. Alam po yung security of state sa amin. Ito po yung sinabi nyo na empleyado ng Senado ang nagbigay. Sa amin, yan po ay seguridad ng ating institusyon, seguridad ng ating bayan. So kaya po, ito po ay hindi nyo po pwede decide ang SOTO law. Mabuti po, malaman nyo na po ang posisyon. At ito, pinag-aralan po natin, may abogado po kayo, meron din po kami mga abogado dito, may mga researchers po kami. At ang SOTO law ay hindi po applicable dito sa sinisite nyo. Sa tatlong tinanong po, pare-pareho, hindi po pwede yan. The Honorable DJ
Thank you very
Suarez,
much.
you are recognized.
So thank you very much, Mr. Chair. So let's just go back to points that have already been established. Number one, the statement that you issued were false. You admitted it and you apologized for it last hearing. Number two, you mentioned that your source is from Senate. And Ka Celiz, Mr. Celiz, the law that you have just stated that you sought to use to protect your right and not to reveal your source apparently has been ruled cannot be applied. So therefore, I'm asking you again, dahil may kinalaman na may mabigat po ang kinalaman ang repercussions nito You're talking about interparliamentary relationships between the House of Representatives and between the Senate. And none other than the Senate President has already issued a statement about this. So I don't think you see the gravity of the statements that you have issued between both houses in Congress. Now, Mr. Celiz, for the last time, please identify your source.
Mr. Chairman, may I be allowed to answer?
Mr. Chair, this is the fourth time I asked Mr. Celiz this question. And every time I asked him this question, ang laki ng introduction, wala pa rin yung sagot. Pwede po ba this time, pag pinagbigyan natin siya magsalita, sabihin niya na po yung pangalan?
Kasi maging introduction lang kayo, tapos i-cite nyo naman, dinisalaw ko na. Sinasabi ko na hindi nyo namin kayang tanggapin yung SOTO law for these particular issues, and we provided the basis for that too. Sa mga binigkas yung provision, doon ko mismo hinugot ko yung argumento namin. Ngayon, kung hindi ko yung sasagot, we will not allow you anymore. Kasi nagre-request si Congressman Suarez ng kasagutan, pangalan ang kailangan niya.
Okay. Mr. Chairman,
Magbibigay po kayo mo ng pangalan o hindi?
may I request that I be allowed to confirm with my legal counsel, please?
O they're right beside you, they can confirm.
May I request for at least
Yes.
a 1-minute conference with them?
Please.
Yun. Nakikipag-ano siya. Mukhang pako-contempt to. Tingnan natin, guys.
Mr. Chairman? May I be recognized again, please?
Okay, please proceed.
In our constitutional democracy, only the courts can interpret the laws, not Congress.
Okay.
So I will not answer that question because I believe Congress does not have the right to interpret laws.
Okay.
It is Congress to follow laws, not to interpret.
Mr. Chair.
I take back my statements.
Mr. Chair,
Okay, the Honorable Toby Chanco is recognized.
Mr. Chair, in the sense of fairness, since we really want to know the source, para malaman natin kung ano talaga yung pinagkakalat nito, would we allow Mr. Celiz, Ka Erik, to reveal the source in executive session? Would the chair allow?
Yes, Ka Erik. It's an executive session, an option for you. There's a suggestion by the Honorable Toby Chanco of Navotas na kung ayaw niyo po sabihin sa harap ng camera at sa publiko, okay lang ba executive session? We will call for executive session now. Para lahat po ng options ay binigay na po namin sa inyo. Ka Erik.
That would be very dangerous for other media practitioners present here because it will create a very dangerous and negative precedents on the protection of source provided by law, I will refuse to. Your Honor,
Salamat po.
Mr.
Salamat
Chair,
po tayo. The Honorable Toby Jacko is still recognized for a follow-up question.
No, I just wanted to manifest that the reason that we're suggesting an executive session is to show na tayo naman, hindi naman tayo, na binibigyan natin siya ng pagkakataon na i-reveal. Kung talagang gusto niya pangalagaan, at least an executive session. But it seems ayaw niya pa rin po, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, it is very clear that Mr. Celiz does not want to answer the question to reveal the source, whether in this inquiry or in executive session. So therefore, Mr. Chair, under Section 11, the power to contempt, letter E, grounds for contempt is for a resource person refusal to answer any relevant inquiry. Actually, Mr. Chair, Mr. Celiz has already violated two provisions of Section 11. The first one, acting in a disrespectful manner, and the second one, which is very more important rather, is his refusal to answer the question in a relevant inquiry. On this note, Mr. Chair, I move to contempt, to cite for contempt Mr. Celiz for on these two grounds under Section 11. So move, Mr. Chair.
Second the motion.
There's a motion, duly seconded. Any objections from any member, Mr. Chairman, of this committee? There being no objections, on a unanimous vote, the Ka Erik is cited for
Mr. Chairman, may be recognized.
ask the Sergeant of Arms to please take on
Mr. Chair,
Ka Erik.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Chairman,
can we request the Sergeant at Arms to practice his responsibility after the hearing? Because there's still other details that.
Mr. Chair, point of order. The motion was for Mr. Celiz to be cited in contempt. And I think there's supposed to be a second motion. Yes. No, the motion should be for him to be detained. Where? Because under our law, the contempt of the committee shall be deemed contempt of the House. The person cited in this section may, upon order of the committee, be detained in such place as the chairperson or acting chairperson may designate. In other words, we have to decide where to detain him and for how long, Mr. Chair. That's supposed to be the second motion. Mr. Chair, I believe with regards to the duration, it will be up to this committee to decide, and of course, to Mr. Celiz, kung kailan po niya sasagutin yung tanong natin, and then maybe we could lift the contempt. But as long as hindi pa niya sinasagot yung tanong natin, the contempt will remain.
Mr. Chairman, final statement before niyo po ikulong.
Mr. Chair, I move for
Can I have a final statement, please? Sir, before po ako magpapakulong, I request the committee.
Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Chair. In an earlier motion, Mr. Chair, we have already approved to cite for contempt Mr. Celiz. On this note, Mr. Chair, I move to detain him in the premises of Congress as per our rules on Section 11. So move, Mr. Chair. The motion.
Mr. Chairman, sir.
Mr. Chairman, honorable members of the committee may be given 1 minute.
Chairman, in relation to the motion,
Oh.
can I have
Because it is required.
the Honorable Paduano is recognized.
Mr. Chairman, ang point of inquiry lang, kasi we are not allowed to have a detention for indefinite period of time. So we have to establish how long. And the lifting of such detention will depend on the members of this committee, of course, with the cooperation of the person in contempt. So we have to establish how long, because we are not allowed to detain indefinite based on so many jurisprudence, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Chair.
Honorable Akop is recognized.
Yes, there's a decision by the Supreme Court that we cannot detain a person indefinitely. And therefore, may I move that we come up with a definite period for detention insofar as Mr. Celiz is concerned. For violation of paragraph C of Section 11,
of the rules?
Nakalagay doon, 10 days na ho. 10 days. 10 days na nakalagay. 10 days lang. The Honorable ako, would you like to make a motion?
May I move that Mr. Celiz be detained for being cited in contempt for violation of Section 11, Paragraph C, refusal to answer any relevant inquiry by the members of this committee for a period of 30 days?
Mr. Chairman? Sino ba sila?
He will go on break on December 30 unless he files a motion for reconsideration. We have done this in the different committees already.
Mr. Chair,
There's a motion. Honorable Committee.
the reason why we cited Mr. Celiz for contempt is because he does not want to answer the question. That is precisely why he violated paragraph C. So why will we give him a timeline? Kung kahit hindi pala siya sumagot, papalabasin natin si Mr. Celiz. The reason why we cited him for contempt, gusto nga natin na sagutin niya yung relevant inquiry natin, na sagutin niya kung sino yung source niya. So I believe that we should not give a timeline, Mr. Chair.
After
Mr. Chairman,
finding
Mr. Chairman.
the jurisprudence, Mr. Chair, I submit to the wisdom of this committee.
Mr. Chairman,
The Honorable Pimentel to manifest his demotion on the time frame.
Mr. Chair, I would like to amend my previous motion. Therefore, Mr. Chair, I move to detain Mr. Celiz for he was cited in contempt until the adoption of the committee report at the plenary session, Mr. Chair. So move.
So that is also an amendment to the motion of the Honorable Akop early on. There's a motion amending the motion of the Honorable Akop. Any second? Seconded? The chair hearing no objection. The chair adopts and approves the motion of the Honorable Johnny Pimentel. So the Sergeant of Arms is hereby directed to enforce the decision of this committee.
Mr. Chair, can I make a comment, Mr. Chair?
Session suspended. Attorney to Maraming salamat po.
Mr. Chair,
Okay, we now proceed.
yes, I think I still do have the floor.
Still with the Honorable DJ Suarez.
Thank you very much. Mr. Chair, can the chair please reiterate the due process that the committee followed in relation to the contempt order that was issued against Mr. Celiz? Isa-isa lang natin para klaro.
There was he was allowed to speak. 4 times you asked the question. The Honorable Suarez asked the question. 4 times he refused to reply. And the Honorable Chango even afforded him a executive session. And again, he refused. So obviously, he will refuse to answer any question that the Honorable Suarez will ask. And he would always cite a law which is unacceptable to this committee because it does not it is not the intent of that law
Okay.
to he cannot hide under that law.
Thank you
That's
very
what the
much.
committee saying.
Yeah, the reason why I asked Mr. Chair is because, going back to the last
And
hearing,
lastly, he was given a counsel.
thank you.
Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
last hearing kasi, inamin niya na mali yung source niya at humingi na siya ng pumanhin. So para gamitin pa yung SOTO law, it's not anymore applicable to him because sinabi niya ng mali. Ang hinihingi na lang natin kung sino. Kung sino dahil may kinalaman po ito sa relasyon ng mababang kapulungan at ng Senado. At pati po Senado, I won't be surprised kung kayo po ay magpupumilit na hindi magsasabi ng totoo, I won't be surprised if the Senate might conduct their own inquiry into this matter as well. Because you have already involved the Senate into this misinformation and fake news. So, Attorney Tolentino, as counsel to Mr. Celiz, are you willing to cooperate with the committee?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Earlier, I was a little bit offended. Your client stood up and uttered some words. Are you supportive with that with your clients?
I'd like to
Do you share the same sentiment as your client, Attorney
one
Tolentino?
statement, Mr. Chair.
When he called the court the kangaroo court, when he called this committee the kangaroo,
Maybe that's his opinion, Mr. Chair.
and you do not share it,
No, Mr. Chair.
do you think it is right?
I cannot answer that, Mr. Chair, because I believe still there's attorney-client privilege. I cannot talk if not authorized by a client, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. So anyway, Mr. Tolentino, as counsel to Mr. Celiz, would you be kind enough to share with us any information regarding the source of that misinformation, fake news that SMNI broadcasted in your television show?
I have no personal knowledge, that, Mr. Chair.
Dr. Badoy, would you have any knowledge on who the source is?
Mr. Chair, no knowledge at all.
Do you know Mr. Celiz's phone number?
Phone number. Yeah, I have his number here.
Would you be kind enough to share it with this committee?
Am I allowed? Could I, Mr. Chair, could I ask my lawyers if I could do that?
Yes, I mean,
It's in the guest list. So I'll give it. Okay, so I'm allowed. Okay. Mr. Chair, it's in the guest list outside. Yeah, all of us.
again,
Can you just,
The number, Mr.
Okay.
can you just tell us the number, please?
Okay, hold on.
As requested by the Honorable Suarez.
Yeah, okay. Right now, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, it's 09.
So please, can you please approve?
So guys, yun, binibigay yung phone number niya at antayin po natin kung anong mangyayari. So naka-suspend ang kanilang hearing.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, the reason why I asked for those phone numbers is, other than citing the source of Mr. Celiz emanating from the Senate, he mentioned that he also received a text message supporting that claim on Monday. And if I'm not mistaken, the date would have been November 27, but I'll have to check my records. Mr. Chair, can I move to subpoena the text messages of that phone number just to know whether or not meron po ba talagang pumasok na text na nagsasabi na ganitong kalaking kahalaga ang ginastos ng House of Representatives. Kasi kung lalabas sa phone records na walang text at ayaw sabihin ni Mr. Celiz yung pangalan, maaaring gawa-gawa lang itong mga pinag-uusapan natin dito at walang basihan. So, Mr. Chair, I move that we subpoena the messages from these two phone numbers on the specific date when those broadcasts was aired on SMNI. So move, Mr. Chair.
Motion by the Honorable David J.J. Suarez, seconded by the Honorable Vice Chair Johnny Pimentel. Any objections? The Chair, no objections. The motion is approved. We will now proceed. Okay.
Yes, just for the information of the body, Mr. Chair, it is on 11/27, November 27, 2023, and the show was aired, I think, at 10 in the 10 in the evening, correct? Morning, 10 in the morning. So, with that being said, Attorney Tolentino, can I just ask, nasa na po yung,
Yes, Mr. Chair.
yes, yung presidente ng SMNI?
Mr. Chair, actually he wants to come here, Mr. Chair, but he has a sick right now, Mr. Chair.
I have with me a medical certificate, Mr. Chair.
So, but you will be speaking on his behalf.
Yes, Mr. Chair, but of course I have a limited authority, Mr. Chair.
So, okay. Anyway, Mr. Chair, if I may proceed, just a few questions, and I'll give it to the other congressmen who have more questions.
Thank you. May I ask if
just one question.
yes, before that, when you said you have limited authority, what does that mean?
I am here, Mr. Chair, as legal officer of SMNI. So I can only talk based on my personal knowledge, Mr. Chair. I cannot talk anything that I do not know, Mr. Chair.
How about the attorney Rolex Suplico? So he knows half. He should know the other half.
The same, Your Honor, we are only legal officers of SMNI. Mr. Rossetti is the president of SMNI. Definitely, there are information that he knows that we do not know.
Okay. So if we don't, okay, let us make this clear. If we're not satisfied with your answers, then we will call for another hearing in a couple of days just for this issue. Okay. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Honorable Suarez.
Can we be kind enough to be given a copy of that medical certificate that you're talking about, Mr. Chair?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much.
Now, Mr. Chair. Thanks. Yes. Mr. Chair, the medical certificate is with the secretary, who is now with Ka Erik, Mr. Chair. With the secretary of SMNI, who is now with Ka Erik.
Why is the secretary with Ka Erik when
We did,
he or she wasn't cited in contempt? That's why Ka Erik.
She's on the way.
Anyway, pwede nyo naman bigay siguro mamaya.
yes, we will not adjourn this hearing or
So-
suspend it until we get a copy of the certificate. Okay. Thank you. Please.
Submit na lang. Thank you, Attorney Tolentino. Attorney Tolentino, how long have you been serving as counsel for SMNI?
May more than 2 or 3 years, Mr. Chair.
So in any major decision that the network takes, I'm sure they seek your advice.
Just an advice, Mr. Chair.
Okay, fantastic. I just came across some posts of SMNI partnering with the Chinese government network. Is this correct?
I have no personal knowledge of that, Mr. Chair.
But you're the lawyer of SMNI.
I only know something that is relevant to the investigation, Mr. Chair. I didn't know about that, Mr. Chair.
No, but it's all over the SMNI Facebook, SMNI Twitter, and news report that you partnered to the Chinese government national TV.
I'll try my best, Mr. Chair, to answer only answers that I know personally, Mr. Chair.
And you have no knowledge of that.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
So how do you serve as counsel when something such as big between two networks cooperating and you have no knowledge of it whatsoever? I don't understand how that relationship works. Kasi
because I'm not down lawyer.
na may kinalaman sa dalawang korporasyon at ikaw ang abogado, hihingi ka ng legal advice, legal opinion, due diligence bago pumasok sa anumang kasunduan. Inamin mo kanina na ikaw ang legal counsel for the past 3 years.
But I am not the only legal counsel, Mr.
Lumabas
Chair.
kayo na mismo naglabas hindi lumabas ng iba, na merong kasunduan ang inyong dalawang network. So gusto ko pong malaman kung ano pong ang kasunduang ito.
The best person to answer that, Mr. Chair, is the president of SMNI, Mr. Chair.
Okay. So we will take note of that statement and we will call for another hearing this week since magalang naman yung ano niya. I hope he's well by then.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
So everything that you do not answer, we will bring up in the next hearing. Let us be clear. And more questions. So I suggest, kung alam niyo naman po, para matapos na po yung issue.
Based on my information, Mr. Chair, the agreement with the Chinese company is not SMNI or the Suara Soup, but it's SMNI Foundation. That's a different company, Mr. Chair.
Okay. So insofar as it's SMNI and alam mo pwede nilang Attorney Tolentino, pwede nyo na lang pong pagsalitain yung bumubulong sa inyo. Pwede po namin i-recognize para mas madali.
I'm the one authorized to talk in behalf of SMNI, Mr. Chair.
Okay. So again,
So the agreement with Chinese company, based on my information, Mr. Chair, is not yet concluded, Mr. Chair. It's still in the process of negotiation.
so is there any documents that would legitimize your statement?
Yes, Mr. Chair, we will submit that next session, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. So please submit it to us. So what you're saying is number one, it's not SMNI Suarezug,
Yes, but SMNI Foundation, Mr. Chair.
but in the news articles that I've read, there was a statement that there will be shared information and production and other shows. So ano pong lalabas doon?
That's why, Mr. Chair, we will submit all available documents, Mr. Chair, if any, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you very much. That's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Suarez is, thank you very much. I'd like to ask the Comsec to please acknowledge first our guest before we proceed to the next interpreter. There are members who arrived today. Please.
With the permission of the chairman, the following members are also present in today's hearing. Minority Floor Leader Marcelino Libanan, Representative Jose S. Aquino II, Representative Margarita Ignacia Nograles, Representative Ivan Howard Ginto, Representative Joseph Gilbert Dialago, Deputy Minority Leader Franz L. Castro. We also have Representative Jefferson Konghon. Your Honors.
Thank you very much. Welcome to the Committee of Franchise. The next interpreter is the Vice Chair of the committee, the Honorable Johnny Pimentel.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As stated by the Chairperson, Honorable Gaston Bunting, the Committee on Legislative Franchises will pursue its mandate to deliberate on matters referred to its jurisdiction relating to the granting, amendment, extension, or revocation of legislative franchises. In proceeding with this mandate, the committee will exercise its oversight function to determine whether or not the laws passed upon it are being implemented and carried out in accordance with the intent of Congress. This authority is expressly provided under Article 6, Section 21 of the Constitution, which provides that the Senate or the House of Representatives or any of its respective committees may conduct inquiries in aid of legislation in accordance with its duly published rules of procedure, and the rights of persons appearing in or affected by such inquiries shall be respected. The committee is presently conducting this hearing upon the initiative of the proponents to look into the franchise of Suarezug Media Corporation and determine whether the terms and conditions therein are complied with. We invited the relevant government agencies, the grantee, and stakeholders to assist us in proceeding with the investigation, as we will give all parties the opportunity to present this committee their respective position on the matter in adherence to due process. The committee will not suppress any rights, nor will endeavor to intimidate our guests and resource persons that we invited purposely to assist us in pursuing our mandate. Kami po ay narito para bigyan linaw ang mga issue at tungkol sa pagsunod sa mga batas na ating pinasa sa Kongreso para sa ating serbisyo bayan. Let me cite the affirmation from the Supreme Court that a franchise right is a special privilege and certain conditions are imposed particularly to safeguard it against abuses. The committee is being criticized of zeroing in on the statements of Honorable Person Erik Celiz regarding the travel expense of the Speaker, which we have established to be inaccurate. And Mr. Celiz even admitted that he did not verify the information he received. Let me clarify that we are not focusing on this matter, and the committee is also considering other issues in reviewing the franchise of Suarezug. The grantee asserted that it already obtained a vested right by virtue of the franchise grant and cannot be taken away without due process. But may I also remind you that the very franchise recognized the authority of Congress to amend, alter, or repeal the grant when the public interest so requires, and this hearing is being conducted to accord the grantee an opportunity to address the call for the revocation of the franchise. Mr. Chair, during the last hearing, we deliberated, we discussed on the possible violations of Suarezug on their franchise, Republic Act 11422, especially on Sections 4, responsibility to the public, Section 10, sale, lease, transfer, grant of use of right or assignment of franchise, Section 11, dispersal of ownership, and Section 12, reportorial requirement. Now, in this hearing, let me expound, Mr. Chair, on Section 4. Because, as I see it, Mr. Chair, it seems that SMNI has a pattern of harassing individuals and entities using false informations. I sincerely believe that SMNI is being used as a tool to spread false information with regards to attacking, maligning, destroying the reputation of certain individuals and entities. Kaya nga, Mr. Chair, in this hearing, I would like to establish, or rather hopefully establish, itong pattern ng sex, or rather serial harasser. Mr. Chair, upon research for the past few days, we have found out that SMNI or Suarasug for that matter is facing several cases, not only in the courts, but in KBP, MTRCB, NTC, and other bodies. I have in my possession some of the cases, Mr. Chair. One, Concepcion, Empeño, Erlinda Catapan, and Cristina Palabay versus Suarasug Media Corporation. Docket number case number 2022-027. It was filed at the National Telecommunication Commission on June 2022. The complaint arises from an SMNI broadcast featuring an interview with Palparan conducted by Lorraine Badoy. In this interview, allegations were made associating Vice President Robredo, suggesting an alliance with CPP, NPA, and DF. The broadcast specifically referred to the Bicol region as being infested with such affiliations. Number 2 case, Alfonso Tomas, Atom Pagaduan Arroyo versus Jeffrey, Ka Erik Celiz, and Lorraine Marie Badoy Partosa. Docket number R-GUZN-23-08237-CV. It was filed at the RTC Quezon City Branch 306 on September 11, 2023. The episodes mentioned in SMI accused Arroyo of being a member of the CPP, NPA, NDA, producing documentaries and participating in activities detrimental to government efforts. Case number 3. This was filed in the Professional Regulation Commission on April 11, 2022. Bonifacio Carmona versus Lorraine Marie Badoy Partosa, Eleanor Hara. The complaint specifies Badoy Partosa's actions utilizing her government position to spread baseless and harmful accusations against the complainants. Case number 4, Ombudsman cases versus Lorraine Badoy. Again, this is in connection with their practice of spreading false information. Now, Mr. Chair, may I ask Lorraine Badoy, inakusahan po ninyo si former Vice President Leni Robredo claiming that she has an alliance with communists. Meron po kayong ebidensya na nagpapatunay na si former Vice President Leni Robredo ay may alyansa sa komunista because you released a statement and accused her of conniving with communists. Because if you cannot prove or you cannot present evidence, then clearly this is a testimony that indeed Lorraine Badoy and Ka Erik is spreading false information, which is a violation of Section 4. Kasagot po, Ma'am Badoy.
Mr. Chair, yung tungkol po sa former Vice President, yung statement po na yon ay hindi po yun personal na opinion ko. I said all those things as the Strategic Communications Cluster Head of the National Task Force, LCAC at the time, and that was in fact the official stand of our government. Therefore, meron po siyang tinatayuan na ebidensya. Hindi ko po yun personal na opinion.
Pero kayo po ang nag-disseminate ng information na yun.
Apo.
It could be the stand of the government, but kayo po ang nag-air ng akusasyon na yun na si Robredo ay may alyansa sa komunista. Hindi po ba?
Yes, Mr. Chair, because that was part of my
So
job.
in short po, ginamit po din yung plataforma ng SMNI to spread false information. Hindi po ba?
Mr. Chair,
Because according to you, hindi galing sa inyo eh. So did you verify the report?
Mr. Chair, that came from the National Task Force, LCAP, and that was our official stand. And the LCAP is made of all these agencies in government. And kaya po sinabi po yon, Mr. Chair, it was as my mandate bilang trabaho ko po na spokesperson ng National Task Force, LCAP, na bago naglalabas ng ganyang statement, meron pong vetting process.
Okay, ma'am, meron po ba kayong dokumento to support this position of the National Task Force?
Mr. Chair, I can produce it.
Okay,
Because
can you please submit that by tomorrow to the committee?
Yes, Mr.
And
Chair.
we would like to see the basis. This National Task Force, this was created by whom?
The National Task Force, LCAP, Mr. Chair, is the Executive Order number 70 that was created by then President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, and it was continued by the sitting President Bongbong Marcos.
So it is still in existence, this National Task Force.
Yes, Mr. Chair, but I'm no longer part of it officially.
Thank you very much. The Honorable
Mr.
Mr. Chair, as I've stated earlier, I would like to establish that SMNI is being used as a tool to spread false information. Ngayon, dito po tayo. SMNI aired an interview in its news channel wherein Ms. Badoy claimed that Ana Patricia Noon, who put up the Maguindanao Communist Party, had also links to the communist movement. Totoo po ba ito, Mr. Badoy, Ma'am Badoy?
Mr. Chair, again, that was in official stand po ulit yon ng National Task Force LCAC. Hindi ko po yun personal na opinion. And I can, again, Mr. Chair, submit documents and proof regarding this.
Yes, as stated by the chair, pakisubmit din po dito kung totoo po ba talaga na yun ang stand ng government because kayo po ang spokesperson at that time.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
SMNI also violated numerous provisions of 2007 Broadcaster Code of the Philippines, specifically as regards to the credibility of news sources and reports. Ito po ang palaging problema ng SMNI. Mr. Chair, kagaya nung sinabi ninyo na that the speaker spent 1.8 billion pesos in traveling expenses, pero during the last hearing, nung tinanong ko po si Ka Erik, eventually he admitted na mali pala ang source niya because we presented their documents and testimonies from the Secretary General and the head of the Finance Department, Bobby Maling, proving otherwise na walang katotohanan yung 1.8 billion pesos. So, Mr. Chair, clearly, as I've said, meron ho silang pattern. I mentioned already 4 cases. Ngayon, sa KBP, meron din kaso ang SMNI. Now, may I ask the resource persons, ano ang nature ng kaso ng SMNI?
Mr. Chair? Yes, Mr. Chair. No, this question is addressed to KBP.
I'm addressing my question, Mr. Chair, to KBP.
KBP,
Because,
on the floor.
as I said earlier, dahil sa daming fake news, sa daming mga maling impormasyon na pinapalabas sa SMNI in their program and other programs, ay marami yung silang kaso. You know ang ina-establish ko. Because of the false informations that you are disseminating, you are faced with several cases proving na marami kayong inaras, marami kayong minalign, marami kayong sinira ng mga reputasyon using false information. Yun po ang gusto kong i-prove dito sa hearing, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, may manifestation is related to the question, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Mr.
very
Chair.
specific, it is a KBP.
Specific.
Okay, so, KBP is recognized.
Meron pong kaso sa KPP ang SMNI. Ano yung kasong yun?
Mr. Chair, the complaint was received only today.
Can you please speak closer to the microphone? Thank you.
The complaint from a certain Mr. Luis C. Biraugo was received only today. In fact, I was informed of it only on my way to the hearing. The complaint involves violation of the broadcast code, particularly on airing of unverified reports. Personal attack intended to malign, unfair, criticize, or attack a person, natural or juridical. Speech or action likely to incite any person to violence or antisocial behavior. Vulgar, obscene, or indecent language. Use of vulgar, obscene, or indecent language. And then use of language tending to incite violence, sedition, or rebellion. And name-calling of personal insults. May we inform, however, the Honorable Committee that Suarez withdrew their membership from KBP. And we are informed only of this afternoon.
Mr. Chair, so yung complaint po ni Luis Borriago, ganun din po, hindi po ba? Maling mga impormasyon and maligning the complainant. And yung request po niya is to revoke the license of Suarasug based on these unconfirmed reports, hindi po ba?
The grounds being cited are the same, although the request is to determine accountability for the previous flagrant or unmistakable violations of the law and rules.
Mr. Chair.
There's also a prayer for cancellation of franchise, Your Honors.
Okay,
Mr. Chair.
so thank you from KBP. Again, ang nakasaad po doon, citing violations of Section 4, responsibility to the public, and prayer for the cancellation, revocation of SMNI license.
Yun po guys, so ini-halfway ko lang kasi na-contempt na si Ka Erik Celiz dun sa puntong yon. So, gaya nga ng aking bilin sa inyo, ang mga pag kayo magkokomento sa mga opisyalis ng gobyerno, kagaya ng ganito, na ang Kongreso ay yun po ang mga kongresista. So, kailangan nating igalang sila. At huwag tayong magkokomento ng yun po. So, yun po ang billing ko. So, huwag niyong kalilimutan. Ito po muli ang inyong lingkod, si DIY KKB Informative, na nagsasabing keep safe, God bless, and you have a great day. See you on my next vlog, guys.